Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a jam-packed show today with Alvin Kamara on set discussing the Saints' heartbreaking loss to the Vikings. Plus, O'Shea Jackson Jr. stops by to talk about his new movie, Lonzo Ball, and more. And how much of a factor will Tom Brady's injury be in the AFC Championship? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. It's a huge NFL weekend, and let's start with the AFC Championship game. The Patriots opened the week as a 9-point favorite at home against the Jaguars, but now the spread has dropped to 7.5. A big reason is the status of Tom Brady. He was at practice yesterday, but did not participate after injuring his throwing hand on Wednesday. Brady was also wearing gloves on both hands yesterday, and the NFL Network reported the Patriots believe he will be able to play on Sunday. Shannon, how much will Brady's thumb be a factor against the Jags?
Be honest,
I don't think it'll be a major factor. From all indications, the Patriots seem to think he'll be fine. Those close to the situation believe Tom Brady will be fine. I expect Tom Brady to be fine. So I want Skip Bayless and all of New England to stop trying to send out this alarm. This is not an Amber Alert. So you need to stop this, Skip Bayless, and stop playing.
It's a red alert.
No, it's not. It's not DEFCON 5.
It is.
It's not no high.
6, 7, go.
You being asked for 8, 9, 15. Yeah, exactly.
I once made that up.
Yeah, I know you did. That's why I gave it to you. Now, Skip, I don't think, look, we'll find out early on how well Mr. Brady's thumb is, because I believe they will test the Jags early. Even if there's something might be a little wrong with it, I think they want to put look, y'all playing up here, y'all playing all this tight coverage and jumping everything. Now, we will throw the ball over your head. Brady had the third most attempts over 20 yards. He had the third most completions of 20 yards. So it's supposed to be a great day, 43 at kickoff.
Yep.
Very, very minimal win. So I don't really think, now, look, if it's a thumb problem, now I'm looking at the hand. I saw the hand on Wednesday and looking at it, I just think he needed a manicure, Joy. I mean, if he come to my lady, Tasha hook him up, start manicure, Skip. You see the things look shiny like that? But if he get a manicure, he'd be just fine. Well, the problem is if there's something wrong with his thumb, obviously the grip and then the index finger.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I don't think there's a significant enough damage to that thumb that will put Brady in harm's way of not playing. But I can assure you they would rest a lot more comfortably if they had a guy that was on their roster had they not traded him to San Francisco. But that's neither here nor there. But I expect Brady to be out on the field on Sunday. I expect him to play extremely well on Sunday, like he always has in these moments.
I cannot tell you how much I hope you're right about this. I cannot tell you how much I went home from yesterday's show thinking to myself, I think my partner's crazy about this, but I just hope he's right about it. And then the day began to unfold, and I began to read more and more and worse, and I do not love what I'm reading and hearing, much of it speculation, but it just sounds like this is way worse than you thought it was 24 hours ago, because I'm going to remind our audience and you, 24 hours ago, you went so far as to say they were fabricating this, unfathomably to me, because I kept trying to figure out, fabricating to what end? He's won 5 Super Bowl rings. He's clearly the greatest quarterback ever. Yeah. So now he needs a false, phony narrative to what? Create sympathy? To build in a new excuse after you won 5 Super Bowls?
Maybe fabrication, and maybe I didn't phrase it like I wanted to phrase it. Let me put it like this. I'm saying the validity of the injury. I don't believe Tom Brady's thumb is as injured as you and they're making it out to be.
Okay, remember, yesterday we only knew hand. The Boston Globe said yesterday hand was cut. Okay, that's not a big deal, I don't think.
Right.
But others were saying it would need an X-ray, okay? And some were speculating it might need an MRI the next day, which was yesterday. So all I cared about yesterday was that Tom Brady would practice. And if he practiced, then bully for you. I'd say, thank you, you were right. It was embellished or exaggerated. Tom Brady came out wearing a glove on his injured throwing hand. Nobody could remember Tom Brady ever wearing a glove on his right hand. Now remember, it is not the Patriot way or the Tom Brady way to mess with the opponent, to jack with them, to try to create illusions, to try to misguide, to what? So they're going to prepare for Brian Hoyer? Really? That doesn't get you anywhere.
So what about Skip? Do you really believe that Tom Brady needs another Thursday practice after 18 years?
Yes. And by the way, the pictures that were blown up all over the internet of the gloved hand showed the enlarged thumb. And it looked to me like, and I don't think I'm seeing ghosts here, it looked like it was heavily wrapped because that thumb looked a lot bigger than the left thumb. So, was it potentially dislocated? Was it potentially sprained or hyperextended or whatever happens because you glossed over the fact that if you break your forefinger, your middle finger, or whichever finger, your little finger, you can always tape those fingers if you have a hairline fracture. You can just tape them together, and as you know, you can still grip and throw a football fairly accurately.
Yes.
But when it involves the thumb, if there's dislocation or any sort of pain lingering in the thumb, and you hinge your entire game on your accuracy because he doesn't have a cannon. He's got a nice arm, but this is accuracy. This is controlling the football as it leaves your grip. This is the thumb is essential in the grip. If you can't grip the football, you tell me what's going to happen.
Yeah, obviously.
Bad things are going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
the two most important fingers are the thumb and the index finger.
Okay, so I think we both agree. Tom Brady's about to be up against his biggest challenge of this football season, right?
Yeah.
This is no joke, the Jacksonville or Saxonville defense. And Tom Brady is a practice quarterback. He's a reps quarterback. He's a timing thrower. He relies heavily on wavelength and rapport and mental connection with all of his receivers, especially those who run out of the slot option routes against a defense that is just loaded with firepower and young studs everywhere. So the ability to uncover against this defense it's tough, man. Am I right? This is the highest degree of difficulty you're going to face all year.
Skip, he's missed a lot of days of practice this year.
He hasn't missed that many.
Yes, he has.
But this is a Thursday before the AFC Championship game, and I'm not buying. So you're gonna have him sit out to do what? To what end? You're going to mess with the Jags? Like Doug Marrone said yesterday, I think he could pick up the ball and throw it left-handed as well as he can right-handed. Well, that's not true.
Well, if he's so injured, why bring him out? Why not have him in there getting treatment on it?
I assume because he wanted to participate in the mental portion of the practice. That's all I can figure out. Okay, so what do you think? They're messing with this? Do you really think you need to mess with the Jaguars right now?
All I'm saying is if Tom Brady is as injured as everyone says he is or you think he is, why would he come out? Why would he just not stay inside and get treatment on that thumb? He'd get no mental out of what? Stop it, Skip Bayless.
No, start it.
No.
I think you underestimate how much practice means to him. Just to be there and feel of it and see what they're going through and see what it looks like.
I'm just saying it, but here's the thing. I know a guy that played an entire Super Bowl, Joy Taylor, before your time, on a broken leg. We didn't know he had a broken leg until after the game. The reason why they didn't tell you he had a broken leg going into the game, why is that, Skip?
Who are we talking about?
Jack Youngblood.
Okay. All right, I covered that team.
Yeah, in 1979 against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he played that game on a broken leg. He said, I'm not missing this game. He says, I'm also didn't tell them because I didn't want the Steelers targeting said injury.
Did he have to grip the football with this broken leg? No, he did not.
So what position can you play on a broken leg on the football field, Joy?
Just about everything but quarterback.
A broken leg?
Yeah.
You need to stop
he had a
playing.
fracture. I watched the game. Listen, I know Jack Youngblood very well. He's as tough a player as ever played. And again, to my eye, watching that Super Bowl, he looked like Jack Youngblood.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it is. How bad was the break? I don't know.
So guess what?
What's his pain threshold? Now we're getting into human pain thresholds.
So let me ask you this. When you watch the game on Sunday and Tom Brady's spinning the ball, are you going to say, man, his thumb is really messed up when he throws for 300 yards? No, exactly.
I hope.
Exactly, Joy. That's my point. What you're going to do if Tom Brady wins this game.
What's your point?
If Tom Brady wins this game, throws for 300 yards, Skip Bayless gets to come in here on Monday.
I will not say a word about it because I have never made an excuse for Tom Brady. He doesn't make injury excuses. Trust me, he's supposed to do a media session today. He will dismiss this. He'll say, it's fine. He's been saying all year about his Achilles. Achilles are no joke if you've ever had an Achilles, and I've had a bunch of them. No joke. Not a word about it. All season, he's had a bum left shoulder, not throwing shoulder. Has he said a word about it in any media session? I'm fine. You guys, nope, I'm fine. I'm fine.
And he's missed practice because of that bum shoulder. He's missed practice because of that Achilles.
Okay. What I don't
pushed
know,
off some media sessions.
Okay. What I don't know is which way they do offense-defense practice. So I'm not sure about it, but it's possible they had already had offensive practice on Wednesday. The old Cowboys, the Jimmy Johnson Cowboys did offense, then defense. I don't know how you guys did it. But if Thursday was offense practice, then it's really a bad situation for him. But I don't want an excuse. I don't want any sympathy for him. I just want him to be Tom Brady because he's going to have to be 1,000% of Tom Brady to pull this off against this defense. And for that matter, against a Blake Bortles, who's now 2-0 in the playoffs. I keep telling you, I told you all last week, I picked the Jaguars to win at Pittsburgh because he's not trash. He had a QBR of 90 at Pittsburgh.
But he's not what Devin McCourty says either. He has the worst record of any quarterback since the merger entering a championship game. 34 win percentage. That is Blake Bortles' record. He's 21-40. So don't tell me he's a winner.
What was he this year? Help me out.
Even when you factor that in, he won 11 games this year.
Wow.
So going into the season, Joy, he was what, Skip? If he's 21-9, he won 11 this year. So what was his record going into this season?
All I care about is he's 2-0 in the playoffs, right? And it's not easy to go put up a 90 QBR on a scale of 0 to 100 at Pittsburgh in a divisional playoff game. I thought he was really good in that game.
Skip, he played well, but you're trying to make it seem like he's Joe Montana, and he's not.
Yes,
you are. You're talking about, he's not trash. Skip,
wait a minute. Who picked Jacksonville last Friday sitting right here?
Skip.
And what did I tell you? It's because Blake Bortles isn't nearly that bad as everybody's saying, including you last week.
So why
did I not say?
Why does Skip? You had a 50% chance. It's not like you was picking 17 teams.
Stop it.
You picked Pittsburgh or you picked Jacksonville.
Well, but I had Jacksonville all week, and I kept telling you they're just better than New Orleans.
You picked New Orleans also.
I did, and guess what? It took the flukiest, craziest play in the history of pro football to right the wrong.
Do they count?
Okay, I almost went 4 for 4 last week, except for the craziest play in the history of the NFL playoffs. Craziest last play, I almost went 4 for 4. But I did have Jacksonville, and it was clear that from the start they were the better team.
Yeah.
So they're serious business. But the only reason you're not picking Jacksonville after you have lauded Jacksonville's defense all week is because you are scared to death, not of Blake Bortles, but of Tom Brady.
Because I don't believe Tom Brady is as injured as you and everybody else
I'm scared to death about
making it out to be.
Okay, so I told you also, my disappointment in Jacksonville last Sunday at Pittsburgh was, in the end, when all the smoke cleared from the scoreboard, the score was 45-42. Wow, 45-42. Wait a minute. The losing team at home did score 42 points. And wait a second, I'm looking at the numbers. Wait, Ben Roethlisberger threw for 469 yards, and the Steelers totaled 545 yards against that Jacksonville defense. And again, you and Jimmy Moore here on Monday, a lot of it was what you call empty yards.
Correct.
I get that. But were 42 points empty points? No, not to me. So I could see where you could throw the football on Jacksonville if you really committed to it, and they had no choice because they had to play backyard football.
Yeah, they were down 28-7.
That's correct. So do I think Tom Brady can get some people past some of those cluers, as you might call them, or gamblers? I do. So I came in thinking I'm going to pick Tom Brady to win this 27-14. And now, I don't know. I think this is a huge X factor. I think there's more there than not there. Adam Schefter at ESPN said it's not nothing. So that's all you need to know. It's not nothing that's going on with this thumb. So if it's something, if it's more than you think it is, if he has any trouble at all, it's going to level this playing field in a hurry. And Blake Bortles, if he just doesn't throw it to the other team, will keep them in this game. So I'm still going to hang on and hang in with my preseason pick that Tom Brady's going to get back to and win a 6th Super Bowl. But this is going to be tight, and now it's going to be a defensive struggle to me. I'm going to go Patriots barely, 17-14, low scoring, because I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to score much, because I do think he will be handicapped hampered, whatever you want to say. I don't think he'll be quite Tom Brady.
Well, my thing is, Skip, is that I don't know if I trust Blake Bortles as much as you do. I saw what he did last week in Pittsburgh, but what if he plays like he did the previous week in Buffalo, where he threw for 87 yards and he rushed for 88? That's not nearly enough to get it done. For me, are the Jags going to play into like, well, we don't want Blake Bortles to throw? Will they let him throw early to run the football late? Because if you try to run the football on first down, you're going to end up being 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9.
Yep.
So I would advise them to throw the ball on first down, try to keep it in manageable D&D, down in distance, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 3 and 4.
Yep.
If you can get something like that, now you're in manageable situations. Now, also what concerns me, I did see Vance McDonald, the tight end for the Steelers, catch 10 balls for 112 yards. Well, if you give Rob Gronkowski 10 balls, it's not going to be 112. It's going to be $150 and a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I would
He
agree.
will punish you. And looking at the way they play defense, the defense, I think his name is Wash, the D coordinator. He is a Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawk disciple. They play single high safety, robber coverage, which means the strong safety is looking to pick off any crossing routes. They base out of a 4-man front. They try to rush 4, and they play coverage behind that. That's what they play. Now, I don't like that, especially against Gronk.
Okay.
You need someone that can run, that can cover, and can get physical with him. I believe Jalen Ramsey is the only guy that can do that.
Could be right about that.
I don't know, but here's the thing, though, Skip. Maybe in a regular season game, you would scrap what you normally do and says, okay, Ramsey, you got him. But I don't know if you're willing to do that in a championship game because you can ill afford to have one missed check, one missed assignment.
All right.
So I believe they play what they always play, and they'll play that single high coverage with the lurk coverage, and Gronk could have a big day.
Okay.
I don't feel nearly as comfortable as you do. I'm going to say Patriots 27-24 on a late Gostkowski field goal.
You're going to give him 27 points. Yeah. He's got a busted thumb. Wow. I hope you're right about this.
I'm saying I don't believe
and
the
I'm
thumb
also
is
going to
injured.
remind you, the last 2 times Tom Brady lost in the postseason, where did that occur?
Never.
Occurred in Denver. And who was in the middle of that defense, the Denver defense? Malik Jackson, who's now in the smack dab middle of this defense. And what did Malik Jackson do against Tom Brady in those 2 games at Denver? He just crushed the interior of the pocket, and he would not allow Tom Brady to do what he does best and what he's most comfortable doing. Just one big step up to deliver the football. And Malik said yesterday that he told his mates in the defensive line, that's what I told everybody. We have to make sure we create pressure up the middle. He also ended up saying, Tom is 40, so we can hit him, which I thought was a little bit of a shot. I don't know why you can't hit him when he's 26 or 24 or 32.
Well, he's easier to hit because he's not nearly as nimble. Now, Tom Brady, we saw the world's ugliest 40 at the Combine. And I don't believe he's any faster than that, Joe. I feel very comfortable in saying that. So he's saying, look, he's 40 years old. Hey, we can hit him. And at 40, your body doesn't feel the same as it did at 26, 27.
Yep, okay, I give you that. But who has been Tom Brady's nemesis in the postseason all along, all the way through, sometimes in the regular season too? Tom Coughlin. He doesn't coach this team, but I'm going to suggest to you he's in the coaches' meetings. Okay. I'm going to suggest to you as the overseer of the franchise, the guy who picked Doug Marrone on the advice and with the recommendation of one Bill Belichick, I think Tom Coughlin has a whole lot to do with this new Jags football team.
Well, he kept Doug Marrone because wasn't Marrone already on the staff with Gus, and when Gus was let go during the season? Right.
So I look back. Tom Brady is 2-3 against Tom Coughlin teams in his career. Okay. He obviously lost 2 Super Bowls to Tom Coughlin, and why was that? Because the front 4 could get home without having to blitz, right? Yep. That's the crucial element against Tom Brady. If you can get home with 4, as Jacksonville is highly capable of doing, that is a problem. And in the regular season games, remember, Eli went up to Foxborough, this is in 2011, and beat Tom Brady head-to-head on a last-second play, 24-20, which set up the second Super Bowl. Remember that after the 2011 season?
Correct.
So he did that, and then remember, they set up the first Super Bowl victory with a moral victory at home. The last regular season game, it was 38-35 against the record-setting 2007 Patriots of Tom Brady to Randy Moss. Remember that?
Yep.
So there's another one where you even got a moral victory there. And then the only game that Tom pulled out in the regular season came in 2015 ahead of the loss at Denver, and that was in Week 10, and it took Brady converting with 1:28 left, a 4th and 10 at his own 20 to Danny Amendola to pull it off on a 54-yard field goal, last-second walk-off kick, 27-26. That's what keeps happening against Tom Coughlin. It goes to the wire, and they easily could have lost every game. They could have lost every game. Well, this is Tom Brady we're talking about. So you don't think Tom Coughlin's going to have impact on this game? Yeah.
I'm sure he'll pass along what his defenses did to rattle Tom Brady. Absolutely. They do have the personnel. I believe their back end Jacksonville's back end is better than both of those Super Bowl winning teams that the Giants have. Now, the front end, that first Super Bowl with Stray and Tuck and Ubin that you know,
plus
I think
they're veterans and they knew
now the D tackles might be better with Calais and Malik. They might be better than the Giants, but those 3 edge guys, because then they bump Tuck inside, and now you had hell to pay because he could collapse the pocket as well.
I'll be honest. To conclude this, if I didn't love Brady and be forced to defend Brady on this show, I would pick Jacksonville in this game. If I hadn't picked the Patriots in the preseason, I would pick Jacksonville in this game. All my instincts scream Jacksonville in this game.
Skip, I agree with you 100%. But if I thought Brady's injury was as significant as it's being portrayed, I would pick Jacksonville. I just don't believe that it is. And I think, I'll tell you one thing. We'll know early on.
We will.
We'll see.
And by the way, do I think he's going to try to play? Sure, I think he's going to try. But
Belichick spoke to the media this morning, and Jim McBride from the Boston Globe said that he will update the injury report today. That's what Belichick said. And when he was asked if Tom Brady will be a game-time decision, he said today is Friday.
That's
so
not real positive.
He's not giving a lot, which is
that's Coach Belichick.
Yeah, that's what he does. No mercy. Philadelphia is a 3-point underdog on Sunday against the Vikings, and we're joined now by former Eagles Pro Bowl linebacker Seth Joyner. Welcome, Seth.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Good to have you back.
But where you get that jewelry from, Seth?
Yeah, I got that jewelry in Denver, and no doubt about that.
That jewelry would.
Well, that's because he was in a division with the Dallas Cowboys, and he wasn't getting out.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. He just, you know.
You asked for it, I gave it to you.
It's really interesting to follow this guy on Twitter. Because I got to ask you, Skip, do you believe everything that you tweet? Or you just, or is it just for effect?
No, you know I believe it because you know I'm right.
So you said last week that Nick Foles, because he won a playoff game, he's better than Carson Wentz. I'm not even going to look at him when
I didn't say that. Don't make it up.
Don't make me pull it up right here now.
Did I say that? No. Do I think what I told him is because he is picking the Eagles to win this game, that undercuts Carson Wentz's MVP case. Am I right about that?
No.
How is a very good football team going to win a game without its starting quarterback if in fact that team didn't make the quarterback more than the quarterback
Let's
made
look
the
at the
team?
playoffs, okay? So then does that negate the Minnesota Vikings and what they've done? Does that negate the Jacksonville Jaguars and what they've done? Because neither one of those teams have got great quarterbacks. Carson was a part of a great team, okay? And that's why I kept saying, everybody was like, oh, they're not going to do anything now. Carson Wentz is done. It's a 52-man roster. You know, if I'm on that team, I take it personal. It's like a slap in the face for you to say that we can't win because one guy is gone.
So are you surprised your Eagles are a home underdog?
Well, yeah, I am, because it's unprecedented, Joy. For the first time in the history of the NFL, the number 1 seed with home field advantage has been underdogs 2 weeks in a row. How does that happen? But you know what? We love it. We love it because, you know, these guys they're feeding on that. They're using that as motivation because no one says that they can get it done. And you know what, Vegas, thank you. And all your naysayers, Skip, thank you.
I'm not a naysayer. I picked him to be at Atlanta.
No.
See, you get everything wrong.
No.
Talk about fake news. We got it right here.
Gosh.
No. Well, we know who's not there. And tell them, by the way, in 98, we bleeped the brakes off the Cowboys.
98?
Yeah. When Seth was there with us winning that chip. We had the Cowboys, Troy Aikman, and Emmett, and Michael. And we blew the doors off them.
They're on their last leg.
Oh!
Wow.
You know what, Skip Bayless? The Eagles, I like the Eagles. I just like what they do, their ability to get to the quarterback. And even though they didn't run the ball for a lot of yards last week, Seth, they still ran the ball 32 times. And so that's who they are. They are a run football team. They put Nick Foles in a situation where we're not going to ask you to throw the ball down the field a bunch of times in order for us to win this ball game. It's going to be close to the line of scrimmage. They got guys that can go make plays. Ertz is a very good tight end. Alshon and Torrey can make plays. Aguilar in the slot would do what he does. But this is going to be a defensive ball game. Whomever can protect the football the best is the team that will move on. You pay double for turnovers in the playoffs, and the further you go, the more you pay for them. And this is what's going to happen. If either quarterback turns the ball over, you greatly inhibit your team's ability to win this game. When you turn it over is going to be most important because you can overcome a turnover early in the ball game. But you turn that ball over late in the third quarter, late in the fourth quarter, it's probably a nail in the coffin at that point.
A lot will depend on how they decide to use these quarterbacks. Obviously, Case Keenum, they've used him extensively in the past game. This offense, the Philadelphia Eagles offense, has had to adjust now that Nick Foles is a starting quarterback. You know, a lot of things that Carson did, Nick Foles can't do.
Correct.
So it took a couple of weeks at the end of the season for Doug Peterson to change and adjust the offense to fit what Nick Foles does. Nick Foles needs a running game.
Yes.
So you have to run the ball. Now, if the Eagles can figure out a way to get a turnover, get the lead early, now you put the pressure back on Case because now the more he has to throw the ball, the more susceptible he is to throwing interceptions and making bad decisions. The second half of that game last week, he didn't look that good till the end of the game because they got away from the running game. They put the ball in his hands, and every single time that Drew Brees made a play, every time he made a play, the intensity level, the pressure ratcheted up on him, and you could see.
Yep.
Carson Wentz needed a running game all year.
No, he didn't.
Carson Wentz needed a defense, and that
33
is a
touchdowns.
really good defense.
33.
You want to talk about laughably underrated? This team is being underrated by the odds makers in Vegas. It should be a 3-point favorite at home, and it's, what is it now, 3.5 underdog?
Yeah.
And Jim Schwartz is a really good defensive coordinator, and this team is veteran. It's tough-minded. It plays with an edge and a chip on its shoulder. It plays hard and smart, and it's not just the front seven. That back four, they're veterans, man. I mean, again,
Malcolm Jenkins and Darby.
I never, as a Cowboy fan growing up, I never liked, in fact, I hated the Eagles. I didn't like the Redskins, and I always respected the Giants. So I'm saying this from my heart. This is a good football team. Those three receivers are really good, and especially that tight end. He's not quite Gronk, and he's not quite Travis Kelce, but you know what? He's a force, an underrated force, Zach Ertz.
Yep.
And that run game, you have three of them. And that kid, Corey Clement, he's pretty good. Every time I look up, he's making another key play. Undrafted out of Wisconsin, way to go, Eagles, because he's been a factor, and he'll be a factor in this game.
Absolutely.
And listen, the Patriots miss LeGarrette Blount. They just do, because he is, you want to talk about a Winnebago, man, and short yardage, you got that. And I don't love Jay Ajayi's ball security, and that was a big fumble early last week, but he can rip and slash. So you've got a good football team. I can make a case that your football team all around is better than Minnesota's all-around football team, and the quarterbacks are a wash because they both started a bunch of games, but they're still, obviously, career-long backup type quarterbacks, even though both have played at a very high level at times in their career. I mean, once upon a time, remember, Nick Foles threw 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, right? And he led the league in passer rating that year. And he's played in now, 2 playoff games. He's played well. His numbers are very good in those 2 games. So I don't think he'll lose the game. In fact, I think Case Keenum could lose the game before Nick Foles could lose the game.
Well, Doug Peterson is not going to put Nick Foles in a situation to lose the game. The only way I see Nick Foles throwing the ball more than 30, 35 times is if they fall behind. You know, other than that, you know, you run the ball, you set your RPOs up off your run, you set the rest of your passing game up off the run, and you just put him in. He's a game manager. We have to win this game on special teams. We have to win this game by field position, time of possession, and by our defense being dominant and being able to bend but not break. You know, listen, all of these teams that are left in the playoffs are ranked in the top 5 as far as scoring defense is concerned. So, in my opinion, the scoring is going to be tough on Sunday.
Points at a premium. Points at a premium, and that's the thing. You play field position. You don't try to get heroic early in the ball game. You don't take any unnecessary risk to put your team in harm's way. But the one thing the Eagles do defensively is that they pressure and hit your quarterback. And over the last 7 games, Case Keenum has been sacked 19 times. So they can get to him. And if he gets to him enough, you start hitting him enough, that ball's going to come out. I like the Eagles.
I think he's going to throw you something. That's what the pressure does in these situations. It just continues to ratchet up all the time with these quarterbacks, time after time. Every time you move up in the playoffs, the intensity ratchets up that much more. Nick Foles has been there. Case Keenum, last week was his first week, experiencing this.
Yep.
And he came through at the end to save the day. But I'm not so sure, that going into Philly, where we're gonna have the home field advantage as far as the crowd is concerned, where he can't hear himself, where he can't communicate. That's going to be major. It's going to be a major advantage.
Many times, I don't love. I'm not going to go to hate, but I don't love the Philly fans, but I respect the heck out of that place. It's a hard place to win, especially a playoff game.
But Skip, this doesn't bode well for you. If they go to the Super Bowl with Foles, what do you think is going to happen when they get old Walk It To Him back for the next 5?
Who is Walk It To Him?
You know who he is.
I don't. That's the lamest nickname in the history of nicknames.
Because he throw 80-yard passes like a handoff. Yeah, he just walks it to him.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, walking down the field to him 33 times this year.
You know what? If my running back is eligible for all 16 games next year and we get a real receiver, then maybe we can have this conversation because we got a quarterback who's better than Walk It To Him, or whatever his name is. Yeah.
What? He's talking about Dak better than...
Oh,
wait a minute.
Come on.
Did Dak digress this year?
Yes.
Or did he progress this year?
He lost everything that he had. He lost his running back. He lost his defense. He lost his offensive line. And he really lost number 88 because he was a liability.
So let's make the comparison, okay? Carson Wentz lost his Hall of Fame left tackle early in the season.
What about Big V?
He lost.
No good?
He lost. Okay, we lost on defense. We lost our best player at middle linebacker, Jordan Hicks. Okay?
Hold on. Did I see Carson Wentz get sacked 8 times in one game after you lost your Hall of Fame left tackle? Do you realize I had to live with somebody named Chaz Green at Atlanta who gave up really 8 sacks, but 6 of them to 8
I thought Jerry for not having an adequate
Uh-huh.
replacement. I thought the head coach and the offensive coordinator for not giving the offensive tackle help. That's what you
Hey, Big V, I'm not saying he's as good as the other guy, but he's pretty good. You know it, and I know it.
Big V struggles because early in the game, Big V is kind of trying to feel things out, and he's not as aggressive as he needs to be. As the game goes on, his aggression level goes up. Listen, it's all about your backups. You guys, listen, the Dallas Cowboys are supposed to have the vaunted best offensive line in the league. So if they've got the best offensive line in the league, then that means that you got to do something behind those guys because you're only as good as your weakest link.
That is true.
So now
they were weak links all across.
And you talk about the running backs. Darren Sproles was a major loss for the Eagles.
I agree.
And in my opinion, Doug Peterson is the NFL Coach of the Year. I get what McVay did. I know what he did out here. But when you look at all that he overcame this year, with all the major injuries to major players on this roster, and still to go 13-3 and have your team be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Be disrespected as 3-point underdogs.
Completely.
Somebody's a homer on this table. I don't know who it is, but it's not me.
All I do is come on spit facts.
That's all
Do you have your underdog mask for Sunday?
No, I can't get with that. Now, if it was a Rottweiler, or a Pit Bull, I might get one. But I can't do that German Shepherd.
Seth, thanks for joining us. No mercy. And we're joined now by one of the best rookies in the NFL this season, Alvin Kamara. Welcome to Undisputed.
Oh, we got some young greatness here at this table.
Yes. Good to have you. You were a 3rd-round pick and scored 14 touchdowns this season. Were you even surprised by the season that you had?
I don't never use the word surprise, just work and, whatever comes from that is, what it is.
So when you walked on that field the first time with that guy, Adrian Peterson, could you tell right away that you could hang with him, that you had something in your young legs that maybe he didn't have in his older legs?
I had no choice. I had to try to keep up with him. You know, we all know Adrian is a great player. You know, great person also. So you know, just being able to learn from him and soak up some of the game from him was a major help.
But could you tell right away you belonged?
Oh yeah. You know, I knew once I got that first handoff and I kind of took off down the sideline. I was like, all right, I'm still kind of fast. You know, I'm still fast. Yeah.
Were you surprised that Sean Payton finally said, you know what, I've seen enough of this kid. I'm going to ship Adrian to Arizona?
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was one of those things. Being my first year, you know, I didn't know how any of that worked. So when I got that news, it was just like, you know, Mark texted me. It was like, all right, it's go time. We got to work. Yeah. So, you know, I was just ready. I was ready for whatever.
I don't know if a lot of people know this at home. You originally went to Alabama.
Yeah.
You were in the incoming freshman class with Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, and T.J. Yeldon. What possessed you to do that?
Man, it was me, Derrick Henry, it was Altie Tenpenny, and Tyron Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, so us four, I mean.
So those two were already there?
Yeah, TJ and Kenyon were already there.
Right.
And I don't know, when we got there, we were like, man. You know, it's one of the things where you sitting in the room and you like, shoot. But, you know, I mean, I just wanted to go and compete.
Right.
You know, it was one of those things where I wasn't, you know, I had faith in my abilities.
Right.
And I felt like, you know, I could compete with the best of them, so.
But you got nicked early on. You had the surgery.
You didn't get nicked. You got
you had the surgery,
hurt,
and you had the red shirt, and then the carries just weren't there, and so you was like.
I had to make a move, you know, make my next move my best move, so.
So what was it like trying to figure out how to play for Nick Saban?
You know, everybody knows Nick's reputation. You know, he gets the most out of his guys, and you know, it's nothing but respect for Coach Saban. You know, he tried to help me as much as he could while I was there.
Right.
You know, I just had it in my head that I was, you know, going to transfer. So.
But you had some conflict with him that I read?
Not really conflict, just a little immaturity on my part, being injured, not knowing how to deal with it. So you know, he was trying to help me, but kind of just young and stubborn.
Was that tough to say, I got to get out of here? And you went to, Hutchinson Junior College in Kansas?
Yeah, it was tough because, you know, you always think you have a plan until you make that move. So I'm going to transfer. And when I got those release papers, it was like, oh, it's real now.
Right.
So it was like, man, all right, well, I got to go to JUCO. And I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
You know, and it's some of those times in the back of your head, you like, maybe I should have, maybe I should have, but, you know.
Were there some lonely nights in Hutchinson where you're saying, what am I doing?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But, you know, you got to kind of think about what you're doing it for. You know, I wanted to get back to, you know, big time football and prove to myself and prove to everyone that, you know, I could play with the best of them.
Your parents came from Liberia, your mom came from Liberia, and I've read that you've said a lot of wisdom in that lady, and she imparted a lot to you. So when you went to Hutchinson, were you in touch with her and she's saying, hang in?
Yeah, you know, my mom, she really helped me through it because, I mean, she was that force in my head, like, just keep going. I mean, you made your choice, so you got to, you know, keep grinding and, you know, get what you want out of it, and that's to get back to, you know, SEC play. So, you know, she helped me a lot, and, you know, sometimes I'm not as you know, I guess I don't give her enough credit, but I know that she was one of the reasons why I made it.
You're in the year. I think it's going to come down between you and Kareem Hunt for Rookie of the Year. But coming into this season, going to a team that had Mark Ingram, who had gone to the Pro Bowl, Adrian Peterson, who was a former MVP, who was the preeminent running back at his position. Yeah. Did you think possible Rookie of the Year was in the cards for you?
Man, I didn't know what to think. You know, I just came in like, all right, whatever they throw on my plate, I'm gonna just eat it up.
Right.
So, you know, as the weeks started going, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing a little bit more. I just got hungrier and hungrier, and I'm like, all right, I'm here. Like, let's go. You know. You
know, it's funny. At every stage, you've had to share carries. At Alabama, you had a lot of competition. Tennessee, you're sharing carries. I knew who you were, but I didn't exactly know what you were. I'm not sure the NFL knew exactly what you were. Yeah. And now you're you wind up with Adrian Peterson and Mark Ingram, but still Mark Ingram. At some point, maybe you're going to get a solo stage, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever think about that? No disrespect to Mark.
No.
You know, it's a good 1-2 punch.
Yeah,
But
I thought about it before, and when it comes, attack that just like I would attack everything else. You know, I feel pretty confident in my ability. So.
do you feel like you got underrated at every stage of your career where you weren't able to flourish and show all of your repertoire?
Maybe a little bit, you know, but I mean, I know my mom always tell me control what you can control. So that's pretty much what I try to do everywhere I've gone, like just control. I can control my you know, my passion for the game and what I do to help make myself better. So that's what I can control. That's what I control.
But when you look at it, I think it was a blessing in disguise, you leaving Alabama, because going to Tennessee, you showed your ability to catch the football. I don't know if you're going to get that opportunity at Alabama. They don't throw the ball a whole lot to the running back. And at Tennessee, you got an opportunity to show that you on the return game and in the pass game. So you showed a side of you that maybe you wouldn't have been able to show at Alabama.
Yeah, I definitely thought about that the other day. Like, man, I probably wouldn't have caught as many balls. And, you know, that wouldn't have been something that would have been, I guess, discovered, you know. So that was definitely a blessing.
I'm getting to see a side of you right now that I don't always get to see in your interviews because it seems like Mark Ingram conducts the whole interview for you.
Nah, he don't conduct it. You know, we just go back and forth. That's my guy.
He is your guy.
Yeah.
So one thing you could not control happened on that final play up at Minnesota. What was your immediate reaction? What was your emotional reaction?
You know, in football, you know, I mean, offense, we on the sideline, so, you know, it's 10 seconds left, and we're thinking like, all right, this is our game, you know. If you would have asked paused it at 10 seconds and asked 100 people how you think this game is going to end, you know. So with that happening, it's like, man, like, you know, it's heartbreaking, of course, you know, but that's what makes football. You know, sometimes it don't go your way, and I mean, of course we feel like, you know, we should still be playing, but, you know, it happens.
So Marcus Williams, the safety, obviously, who made the bad choice on that route. In your rookie class, I don't know how close you all are. Have you spoken to him since?
I talked to him right when we went in the locker room, you know. Okay. I mean, he was hurt. He was broken down about it. And, I mean, he couldn't even pick his head up. And I went and grabbed him and, you know, grabbed the shoulder pads. And I was like, you know, keep your head up. You know, I mean, it's football. It happens. You know, he's like, I lost us the game. I'm like, nah, you know, I mean, you got to think about the first half. I mean, he got an interception. Exactly. I told him, I was like, you put us in the game. You know, it's 0-17, and we come all the way back, and you had a part in that. You know, don't be down on yourself. I mean, if we could replay it, I'll put Marcus back there again, because he's a good player. He's a great player.
Yeah, really good year.
Exactly. He had a great year. So I haven't lost any confidence in Marcus. You know, and I know he has the passion for the game to be able to, you know, move on from it. So he'll move on from it.
So going forward, do you expect Drew Brees to be your quarterback next year?
That's what I expect. You know, I don't think any different. You know, that's our QB.
Okay, let's say he is. How good can you be next year? Like
this
real
year?
good?
Yeah. I think we pick up where we left off. You know, I think the sky's the limit for our team. And Coach Payton said it. You know, we got some young guys that can play. And our team, you know, we care about each other. You know, I think that's one thing that helped us a lot this season. I think we care about each other, genuinely care about each other, and that helps you when you're on the field.
Well,
yeah.
And for you going forward next year, what do you want to get better at? What do you want to do more of? What more can you? How much higher? Which is sky your limit?
Yeah, I think the sky's the limit. You know, I mean, just being able to get with Drew more and pick his brain about, you know, some of the things he likes as far as coverage and you know, route running and things like that, and still being able to learn more in the run game, and you know, because I feel like I can get better in the run game. It's things that I watch myself on film, and I'm like, man, there's still more yards out there.
Yeah.
Or
that's a sweet route that you ran on this is good for Sean Payton. Put you in the slot, and get you on a linebacker.
Yeah.
That's like candy from a baby.
Exactly.
You were like, I got you. Bro. You don't even know what's about to happen.
You know, and I mean that's kudos to Sean and Drew, because I mean they every week they're coming up with something, a way to, you know, get me freed up or get me matched up on, you know, a guy that they know I can beat. So
would you like to split out more and play X or Y or play?
Yeah, whatever I can do, because I feel like just me being out in those, you know, and split out or being out wide, I mean, it just creates, you know, a different look for the defense, and it's hard to be able to defend that. So whatever I can do to, you know, free up Ted or Mike or, you know, Brandon Coleman, those guys. and then still helping Mark, you know, because even Mark now he wants to do some of that. Yeah, he wants to spit out and do some of that stuff too.
Wow.
He's capable. He can do it.
I think he's got a future.
Yeah, absolutely. No mercy.
We're joined now by one of the stars of the new movie Den of Thieves, O'Shea Jackson Jr. Welcome to Undisputed.
Thank you. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Great.
Thanks for coming
Good to
on
have
with us
you.
early this morning, bro.
Yeah.
So, tell us about the movie.
You know, it's a heist movie. The group of robbers, the outlaws, we are being pursued by the regulators led by Gerard Butler. And the outlaws are me, myself, 50 Cent, Pablo Schreiber, Evan Jones. And, you know, we're trying to get the biggest fish we can get, which is the Los Angeles Federal Reserve, which is the unrobbable bank of banks.
So I'm there this afternoon. I'm going.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Is it at all reminiscent of a 1975 movie you may be familiar with called Heat, a De Niro Pacino movie? Do you remember it was the same height? Is there any faint echo of that?
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, it's a little bit of, you know, you definitely want a bit of those classics, you know, Heat, Town. And I think that our film, it blends a little bit. It's a gray area of who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. There's no decisive, no choosing. So it forces the audience to pay attention. It forces them to be involved, and it makes you make a choice of who you riding with.
So you got to pick a side.
Yeah, you got to pick a side, and it don't make it easy for you.
I'm looking at you, and your father is, of course, Ice Cube. And it's funny that you chose his second profession, but not the first. Why?
Well, you know, I had always had a love for film. I went to USC for screenwriting, fight on. And in the middle of my second year, he tells me, you know, he has this film that they're paying attention to, Straight Outta Compton, and I need you to play me. And I was like, okay, let's do it, yeah. And he told me I had to audition. I auditioned for over 2 years, and finally got the role.
You had to audition in front of...
Yeah, you know.
What kind of dad is...
No, he put me through the work just so I appreciate what I get. And, you know, 2 years of working, once you get there, can't nobody tell you nothing. You've been doing it for 2 years.
Right.
And I've been bit by the bug. You know, apparently people like the way I act. Got Ingrid Goes West. I went to Sundance. I got top 10 performances at Sundance Film Festival. So I'm here to stay.
So I texted with your father, and I asked him a couple of questions about you as an actor.
Okay.
What advice did he give you? And in any way, shape, or form, does son remind father of father as an actor?
Right.
And he wrote back, I just told him to own his characters and to not let directors control him like a robot, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And he said, yes, he reminds me somewhat of me, but he has developed his own style as an actor, and I'm very impressed with his chops. That's pretty high praise from a pretty demanding father, I would think, right?
Yeah.
So how much have you become your own man as an actor?
I definitely wanted to show a little bit a different side of me after Straight Outta Compton. I wanted to get roles that, you know, showcase my range as an actor and show that I do love what I do. I wanted something night and day from Straight Outta Compton. That's why I went with Ingrid Goes West, and I wanted to get back into the dramatics with Den of Thieves. And you know, it's a very physical role. I go through it quite a bit because of Gerard Butler and the regulators. But you know, my whole thing was to get the awards that they may have not wanted to give my father, so that, you know, at the end of the day, my mom's trophy case would be filled with everything.
You know what? Let's go back to Straight Outta Compton. What advice did your dad, because you're portraying him, who better to tell you how to play this role than him? So what advice did he give you in trying to pull this role off?
The one thing I remember him constantly putting in my head is, you the man for the job. Do not let nobody tell you otherwise. You are the man for the job. And I know him, you know, like the back of my hand. He raised me, he put him in, you know, he's in me. So, you know, I knew that if I just let it slip away or I let somebody else play him, that it wouldn't be as close to him as I would want it to be, because a lot of the times we celebrate our music legends and we play them on the radio and for 24 hours straight after they pass.
Right.
And I just wanted people to appreciate my man while he, you know, still here to get the claps, to get the awards for it.
Right.
So, you know, it was just all about getting people to understand my father and to get them to appreciate the work that he's done.
So as you grew up in that household, how much pressure did you feel to live up to that man?
None at all. None at all.
Because?
That's the way, they never put the type of pressure on us that you had to do.
And by the way, your mom played a big role.
My mom got the cape on right now.
She caped up.
Yeah. My mom is everything, and they never put any pressure on me. Just what you do choose, give it your all. Because if you halfway do it, you'll never be satisfied. You'll never feel good with yourself. So the things that they put pressure on me were good grades. Get curfew when I was younger. Just those type things are just basic things so I could, stay a healthy individual.
So how different are you than your dad? Even though you look like
I
your
smile
dad,
a little bit more than him.
That's true.
But you got his mannerisms.
Yeah, they down packed. But, me and my dad, we definitely have our similarities. He loves to joke, maybe not with the outside world. But, my dad's a super funny dude, and I hope I take a lot from him because that's the best coach I could ask for, and he has a great head on his shoulders, and I hope I have the same.
Did you always want to do this?
No. I was a writer.
When you were growing up, so you want to do something in the movies. You didn't know you would be in front of the camera.
Yeah. I wanted to write, to be able to create the world I felt was just as satisfying as being in it. So, I wanted to be a writer. And when you're the writer, you get to go to Six Flags without people following you and all that type stuff. So, I didn't want to give that up just yet. But, now that I'm in it, I'm not going to let it slip. I'm going to do my thing.
Because your dad was First Friday, all the Friday movies. He's written a lot of movies.
Yeah, he wrote hits at 16 where a lot of 16-year-olds aren't even thinking like that.
He was a poet. Like growing up, to me, he had real creative power in him.
You're going to write your boy in that Friday movie. Your boy going to have a little role in that thing.
We was at your Hall of Fame. We was there. I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having a little role in that thing,
Well, you've been practicing with your Instagram videos.
Yeah, your boy got a little role in that thing.
Hey, cosign. That's my cosign.
Yeah, your boy gonna be up in there, Skip. Don't hate me. Skip, I'm still gonna do us. Yeah. I'm not gonna leave us, but your boy got.
Yeah, just to me, Uncle Shay.
I'm in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Y'all just trying to stop his shine.
Yeah, just a natural progression, Skip. Natural progression.
The only thing shining right now is your forehead.
No mercy. Right now, we've got O'Shea Jackson Jr. in studio, and on Monday, Snoop will be here. We'll talk to him about his Lakers, his Steelers, and a whole lot more. That's Monday at 9:30 Eastern, right here on Undisputed.
It's not going to be a good show for Snoop.
Speaking of the Lakers, they've had more drama than wins this season. Over a week ago, LeVar Ball said the team did not want to play for Luke Walton, and then Bleacher Report said some potential free agents won't go to the Lakers because of LeVar. So, Shay, what's your take on Lonzo and LeVar?
Here we go.
All right. I think all this hype and all this people aren't going to go here because of LeVar is ridiculous. Every single player on the Lakers ever has had a parent. That's just how it goes. Right. And that's science.
Yep.
And, you cannot be upset at a father who wants more for the team that his son is on. My dad has had a couple of sideline debacles and where he ended up actually being my coach. But that's not going to happen in this situation. We as an organization are not run by the parent of one of our players. And I'm not on LeVar about it because he's defending his son, and that's what he's supposed to do. And so there's really, they say where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't even see smoke in this situation. I don't see how someone who is concerned about their business and their playing career would not come to an organization as great as the Lakers because of a parent. They have nothing to do with us. They're just speaking their mind on behalf of their son. And it's not like the team has not done well. There have been moments. And to talk about Coach Luke Walton, I'm definitely not with that. I think what it is your son, Lonzo Ball. When Lonzo's off the floor, we haven't won a game. So your son is obviously the piece that we need. So I don't think that getting rid of the coach or anything like that. Your son is a baller, and when he's not on the floor, we don't ball.
So let me ask you this. You on the movie set, your dad showing up, talking to your dad all this time. Man, that director directed my son movie, man. Damn, the back don't even like acting for him. What you gonna say? What you gonna say to your dad?
Like, Dad, save that for the premiere. Let's just get through this. This is a stepping stone to get us somewhere else. And I got it.
You see what he said, Skip? I'm gonna say, Dad, hold that down a little bit.
Yeah, let's just talk about it at the house. Call me, vent to me.
The problem is, I have no problem with LeVar's love for Lonzo and all those sons, because it's real, and listen, for a lot of us who didn't have a father around, it is heartwarming.
Yeah.
But it's gone a little over the edge because he inadvertently maybe has painted a target on that kid's back he did not deserve. This is a hard league, man. It is a grown man's league. And week after game after week after game, it just got worse and worse for Lonzo going up against the Patrick Beverleys of the world. It was hard enough for him as he went from 19, just turned 20, to survive in his rookie year in this league as a point guard, than to have a father who's calling him better than Steph Curry. Maybe one day he will be, not as a shooter, but as just an all-around basketball player. But you can't put that on that kid's head in his rookie year. That's my big issue with him.
I think the pressure that Lonzo is facing is something more than what LeVar is bringing up. The pressure that's on Lonzo is across his chest. That number 2, it's the number 2 pick of the league. That is an important number. We got some real bad number 2s, but we got some real good number 2s as well. And he's the youngest ever to get a triple-double. I think Lonzo Ball is going to be all right. And the other bit of pressure is across the chest, that Lakerdom. It's a hard place to make your career happen, but if you do, it becomes a beautiful thing. And I know Lonzo isn't fearful of that, because we all know pressure makes diamonds, and I think we got something nice.
So you expect big superstars, a LeBron or Paul George, after the season to come link up with Lonzo Ball, and y'all gonna do big things here?
I see your man, LeBron James, making a smart decision, career-wise, business-wise. Los Angeles is where you want to be, and it's not with the Blakers. The Lakers is what you want to be with. And there's one thing that people tend to forget about the Lakers. We the Lakers. We gonna be all right. That's just how life goes. We the logo. So LeBron, LeBron gonna come down here. Everything is gonna be cool. But right now, I'm focused on what I do got, not what I want. And this team that I got right now, Lil Kuzzy Vert, shout out to Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, fearless, he go get his muscle up, and we got a great direction.
He really need to get his muscle up.
Hey, but he's fearless, and that's what I need to see. I need to see that you ain't scared to go in.
He need to be a fearless big man, not a fearless skinny man.
I'm gonna let y'all disrespect my Lakers.
No, the Lakers straight. We talk about Brandon need to get his weight up.
Shout out to B.I.
Man, I love what you're selling, but you are really selling it hard.
Come on now.
You are selling also that there's this guy named Magic Johnson who took over this franchise. And so, hey, for free agents, for LeBron James or whoever it is, Paul George, they might want to come play with Magic, with Magic as the overseer of this franchise, right?
Magic can, wave the wand and voila. I need that. I love the direction that the team is going. All this outside noise, we've had it forever. We've always had this. We just got a young group of guys. We need, we got certain things that we need to take care of, salary cap wise and things like that. But when you have, I believe we could get 2 max players.
Yep.
That's where you want to be. And everyone in the league is paying attention to this uprising of the Golden Army. And
Golden Army?
Come on now, y'all. My Lakerdom is strong. It's not no swingman Laker fan. I'm an authentic right here. Great Western form.
He is. I think he might be more of a Laker fan than his dad is a Raider fan. And that's saying something.
I agree. You got you're Inglewood through and through.
Come on, Laker down. Everybody better lay it down.
Yeah. So what do you think about what LeBron is going through right now in Cleveland?
I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
Turmoil.
Yeah.
Let me get all that. It's cold. It's cold in Cleveland. It's warm
cold inside that arena.
Yeah, the Q is it's looking a little bleak over there. I don't really like the jerseys. You should just come down here. Come down to the Laker land, and I promise things are a little bit better. I do love his team, you know, in like 2011, but you know, it's fine, you know. I just want him to not like the Cavs so he could come to the Lakers.
So you want Bron? You know, we're a package deal.
Okay. Yeah, I want Bron.
Well, I got to come too. I guess.
All right, look, you here already?
I'm here.
Shannon, he's got 2 houses in Brentwood. It's right down the street from here.
Come on.
I'm about to move in the neighborhood.
Are you?
Like 10 miles away.
Like 10 miles away.
Los Brongeles. We need that Los Brongeles.
You're gonna have to get new bed sheets though.
But see, I got them Cavs bed sheets
You have the
right
Cavs
now.
bed sheets.
So I got big old LeBron. But you know what, Skip? You mentioned Magic Johnson. You remember early on, that's how the free agents were in football with John Elway. He was getting the Peyton Mannings. He was getting the Marcus Ware. He was getting the Akeem Talib, the T.J. Wards. All those big guys wanted to come because, hey, here's a guy that's a proven winner. You know he's going to put a good product on the field, just like Magic. They know Magic is a proven winner, and he's going to put a great product on the court.
Okay. So speaking of the National Football League, how sick and tired are you of the New England Patriots?
Oh my God. I hate me some New England.
Do you?
Yeah, man, but like you can't knock Tom. I've been on Tom Brady's head year after year after year. But after that Atlanta Super Bowl, what can you say? I saw a miracle happen with my own eye, even though the running back helped a little bit. But, you know, Tom Brady is the, you know, I can't knock him. California quarterback at the end of the day. I can't knock 12.
You all things Cali. Huh?
All things
Yeah,
Cali.
but like, you know, I hope he win and not the Patriots somehow.
Well, next year we'll probably see LeBron out here and you can catch
Hey, Bron,
Shay
you want
in a Laker
to shut the Kobe
jersey.
heads up? Put a Lakers jersey on. See what happens.
Shannon, we could have LeBron James sitting in that chair that O'Shea occupies.
In a Laker jacket that O'Shea is occupying.
Well, check out the new movie, Den of Thieves. O'Shea,
Check it out.
thank you so much for joining us.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Keep an eye out for a weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, previewing this weekend's AFC and NFC Championship games. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Fox Sports, one of one.